Hello. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Endo Babe podcast. I'm so excited. Today, we're going to be chatting a little bit about my journey with endometriosis and really how started to live well with endometriosis, really just my journey to living well with endometriosis, essentially, right? So let's backtrack all the way back to 2012. When I was first diagnosed with endometriosis, I was really at a loss for what to do, right? I was calling out of work all of the time. I was calling out of class all of the time. I was spending more time in the ER than I probably should have, right? I was in my senior year of my undergrad, my bachelor in psychology, and I was missing class left and right because I was just sick, right? I just was in pain all the time. I didn't really understand what was happening to my body. I didn't really understand why I was in pain, and then I was angry because I wasn't a normal 20 something and I wanted to be a normal 21-year-old, that didn't have all of this pain. And so I was angry at my body. I was angry at all of the doctors that dismissed my pain for years in the ERs and like my general doctor, all of the things, right? Like, why did I get endometriosis? Why me? Like, why can't I just live a normal life? And I was just furious with literally everybody and everything because it just didn't really make sense to me, And so I was just in like a really angry place in my life. And I was mad at myself for getting endometriosis. I was mad at my body. I was nonchalantly upset with my friends at that time, right? Because they were able to live this normal life and weren't in pain all of the time. And I didn't really understand what I did to cause this to my body, right? And it wasn't really until I like had a dark night of the soul moment where I had to take a good hard look at my life and be like, wow, all of the choices that I've made up into this moment, right? And this was a couple years later. This was in 2016, where like all the choices that I've made up into this moment have gotten to me to where I am right now. Like I didn't really like the person I was becoming. I didn't really like the choices I was making. I didn't really like my life at all. Like I was just kind of like going through the motion, like letting life happen to me and not really feeling like I had control in anything, right? And by this time I was living in Denver and had gone through some like breakups and just some things that happened in my life where I had to take a really good hard look at where I was and be like, wow, like I didn't really like this life I was creating. I didn't really like the person I was. I was attracting all of these like men who were either like emotionally immature or were addicted to drugs, like, and I had some like addiction problems myself, right? Like I was coping with all of my pain by numbing, right? I was a party girl. I was over drinking. I was on a bunch of Adderall, like I was doing all of these things that weren't really like healthy choices because I thought my body was already broken because fuck it, right? Like, fuck it. Why would I treat my body well that's already broken? Like nothing I'm going to do is going to make it any better, and that was just kind of the mindset and like where I was in my life at that time. And during this like dark night, I don't know why I keep calling it like a dark night of the soul. I don't really know what else to call it. But I looked at my life and I was like, wow, like I don't really like this person that I'm becoming. I don't really like what's happening in my life right now, And I realized that the person that I was becoming was a direct reflection of the choices that I had been making, right, in my life and the stuff that I was putting up with and the way I was treating myself, and I realized like being mad and angry at myself and at my body and at doctors and all of the things wasn't helping anybody. And it was definitely not helping me. It was probably in the long term, like making my pain worse at that time, right? And my thoughts were always negative. I was always upset. Like I was coping in unhealthy ways, like I was just kind of saying. And I was like going in this like downward spiral until I hit this like rock bottom, I guess you could call it. Dark night of the soul. I don't really know what to call it. Just like a moment of awareness, I guess is what I could say, right? Awareness of myself and my life and just where I was, right? Because up until that moment, like I was saying earlier, life was just happening to me. I didn't feel like I had control of anything. And it wasn't until I got present in my life and became like the observer, right? And brought more awareness to what was actually going around and if I actually liked what was happening. And the answer was no. I did not like what was happening. I did not like my life. I did not like where I was living. I didn't like the people I was hanging out with. I didn't like a lot of things, and like it it wasn't easy to like make that connection, like where I was like, wow, everything that I was choosing in my life was like dragging me down, right? And in the long term, it was like making my pain worse, right? And it was not helping me heal. And so I really had to like pull myself out of that dark space, out of that rock bottom, the dark night of the soul, like really created this awareness for me to look at my life and be like, wow, I'm not happy here. Like, how could I be happy? How can I move out of this like victim blame mode where I constantly think everything is happening to me and I have no control and like endometriosis rules my life and I just going through the motions kind of thing, right? How can I move out of that space and like what kind of woman did I even want to be? I had no fucking clue. I was just like, okay, I go to school, I go get my undergrad. I'm going to go to ultrasound because that's what everybody thinks that I need to do, and I'm very grateful I did all of those things because it's gotten me to where I am right now. But I hadn't really ever stopped to ask myself, like, well, what do I actually want? Like, what if I could have a completely different life? Like, what kind of life do I even want? What if I wasn't in pain all of the time? Like, what if I had like healthier coping mechanisms? What if I could create more space for positivity in my life? Like, what if I actually wanted to not date drug addict or emotionally immature men? Like, what do I actually want? And that asking myself that and actually sitting down and getting clear on it helped me move into becoming the woman that I actually wanted to be, you know? And the woman that I actually wanted to be makes healthier choices, right? She dates healthier men. And so I started to do the work. I started to show up for myself every single day. And it was really like this journey of understanding and aligning with this person, this woman that I wanted to be, that helped me understand and make choices from a place of self-love instead of self-hate, that allowed me to heal, and instead of hindering me, instead of keeping me stuck and repeating the same patterns over and over and over again, help me move past that and help me do the work to have the life that I have right now. Right. Um, and it wasn't fucking easy, but it was literally just that awareness and that choice, that making that daily choice every single day. And I know I shared on my Instagram a little bit ago a journal entry from 2016 where I was just in constant pain. And like you can read through that and it like makes me want to cry because you can just see how sad and how hurt and how much pain I'm in. And just like I'm in like such a dark place mentally at that time. Right. And so that was like right before my dark night of the soul moment where I had to take this realization and be like, oh, I'm not making choices in my life that are moving me towards healing. I'm making choices in my life that are hurting me, and like making me feel like shit. And yeah, it wasn't easy. It's been like constantly showing up for myself every single day, but being able to understand who I actually wanted to be, right? Help me make choices since that day to be this woman that I am right now, right? Where even if I do have pain, like it doesn't have this emotional hold on me anymore, and I can still like have more good days than bad. And this is like what I help my clients with, right? It helps me or helping them, right? Make these bigger, deeper transformations and healing. Because I'm sure you guys have noticed, like I'm making a shift in my coaching business, right? Centered more around like mindset and spirituality and emotional healing and pleasure and really aligning to your human design, right? Which is like an energetic tool. I've done podcasts on that. We can talk about that more later, but because healing is more than just the physical things. And I know I've talked about it a lot where like I felt like I was doing all the things right, like after I made this shift and like who I actually wanted to be, I focused on like the physical things first, right? Because it's easier. It's so much easier to do the physical things because they're tangible. But healing is more than just the physical things. It's more than just the physicality. It's more than just the surgeries, the medications, and the right diet and the exercising. And like, yes, all of those things are components in learning to live well and a healthy life, right? But I know Dr. Cook on his Vital Health Endometriosis, Dr. Cook, he's an excision specialist. One of the things that he always says is lack of endometriosis implants in your belly does not equal good health, right? And what he means by that is just because you've had the surgery to remove endometriosis from your stomach doesn't mean, or wherever it is, doesn't mean that you are technically like healthy, right? And so you have to make all of these other things that go into living well with endometriosis, that go into having like a happier, healthy life with endometriosis, right? Because, and yes, it's the physical things, but it's also more than the physical things. And that deep transformation with the mindset and the spirituality and the emotional healing and like all of those aspects of healing, understanding and aligning to my human design, like all of those things help me make greater leaps in my healing journey to get where I am right now, right? But it started with me understanding and getting clear with the woman that I wanted to be, right? Because when we can create this vision for ourselves in our life, and you can focus on that day in, day in, day out, day in, day out. Wow. I don't know what I just said there. Day in, day out, right? Oh, so train of thought. Oh, when you can focus on all of those things day in, day out, you actually create new neural pathways in your brain because our brains are plastic, which means that we can create new realities for ourselves based on just like our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, and like getting into those. And so actually figuring out who I wanted to be in that moment. I didn't realize it at the time, right? But looking back now, I'm like, wow, that was it for me, like making that choice in that moment to choose a new life for myself, created a new neural pathway in my brain and help me make it a reality, right? Help me align to that woman, help me align to who I actually wanted to be and making the choices from that. Like, what kind of choices would that person make, you know? And this is what I've been doing with my one-on-one clients, and they've been seeing amazing results because it is more healing. It's more than just the physical stuff, like I started out this coaching business as like a health coach, and it's so much deeper than that. And that is what I've learned along the way, right? Is that it takes more than just changing your diet to learn to live well with endometriosis, right? Figuring out who you actually want to be in the face of endometriosis, right? Because you're the powerful creator of your life, right? You're magic. You're a literal cosmos. Like you are magic. Like when you can embrace it, you can become it. And like I was just saying, when you can actually like lean into consciously creating your life and the context and your states of being, and you can access these like new aspects of yourself that you want to create, right? You are creating the context, which in turn creates the content, which is like the thoughts, feelings, emotions. All of those things are the content of your life. And from that new context and content, you can create new words to say to yourself, new mindset shifts, new ways of being, right? And when you can create a way of being that aligns with the life that you want to have, like you are moving towards healing, right? And when you do that, it helps you take aligned action in healing, right? With mindset practices, spiritual practices, understanding your emotions on a deeper level, and understanding how our emotions and all of these other aspects play into our pain, right? And when you do that, when you realize that emotions and these other things can play into our pain, you can rewire those pathways to erase that pain and move towards healing even more, like when you leverage your human design to understand your energy and how you're uniquely supposed to show up in the world, like showing up as yourself just as you're supposed to be, and understanding all of these other aspects that go into healing, trauma, and spirituality and mindset and pain and emotions and all of this stuff. When you understand it a little bit more, you can actually take action on it, right? And this helps you like propel you forward and aligning to your actual power, right? And then you can have more good days than bad, because when you can make consistent action and take consistent action in healing all of these other aspects, things just start to fall away, right? Because I'm not going to get into like the neuroscience of things, right? But like I was saying before, when even just imagining this new life for yourself, or imagining this new person that you want to be, creates a new neural pathway in your brain, right? And the more that you lean into that, the more those pathways become memorized. And then it creates like you can create your actual reality. It's like quantum physics. People have been studying it for thousands and thousands of years, hundreds and hundreds, probably not thousands, but it's really fucking cool shit. Right? Like understanding the actual laws of our universe and how all of this shit works and how it ties into endometriosis and healing and learning to live well with endo, right? Because just because somebody, well, this is why actually is what I'm wanting to say. This is why like people, the spectrum on like living well with endometriosis and the happiness levels and all of these other things that go into healing, why people are at such different stages, right? Because it's more than just the physical things. Like that's why everybody is so different and deserves a unique healing plan, because we all have our different backstories. We all have all of this other stuff going on inside of our bodies that are playing into our pain, right? And so when you can lean into these emotional mindset, spiritual practices, it can help you heal so much faster, right? And when you can actually get clear on like what it is that you desire, what do you actually want in your life, right? Because there's an infinite number of possibilities and opportunities to grow and experience excitement, joy, desire, happiness, like anything that you want in this world, right? There's an infinite number of possibilities for you to have those things, even with pain, like, and you're worthy of having all of it, right? When you can align to your power and you can raise your consciousness and you can manifest like the juiciest, most beautiful life that you can imagine for yourself, like that can all be yours. Because again, yes, the physical things that go into healing are important, the surgeries, the nutrition, sometimes the excision surgery, right? If you go and listen to that podcast with Dr. Cook, he said not everybody necessarily needs surgery, right? It depends on the severity of your endometriosis. It depends on your quality of life, right? But if you only focus on the physical aspects of healing, like, and you ignore the mental, the emotional, the spiritual aspects of healing, you're still going to feel stuck, right? You're going to feel plateaued, because you can be doing all the right physical things and you can still feel down on yourself. You can still feel like a burden, or you're hating on your body and your endometriosis, and you're feeling like you don't deserve this amazing life with endo. Like that's a sign that you need to be doing the deeper work, the deeper aspects of healing, right? Not just the physical things. And the good news is that you can be working on your healing. You can be working on having more good days than bad. You can be doing the physical things. You can feel those feelings come up. You can acknowledge them, notice them, and still move forward, right? Because this isn't about toxic positivity, no bad feelings. That we're humans. We have an array of emotions. We have an array of feelings. We have a range, and it's totally normal for us to feel all of those things. But if you don't actually feel that shit, right, it can get stagnant in your body and it can hold you back, right? Because life isn't black and white. Life isn't this or that. Like we can still build a life where you can have extreme pain and immense pleasure and joy simultaneously, because we are humans and we're unique and we're complex, and things like that in our reality exist. Nothing's black and white. Everything's gray, shades of gray. So if you are feeling like you have all of this pain and you're feeling all of these things and you don't think that you can also have pleasure and joy and happiness at the same time, like that's a sign you need this deeper healing, right? Because you can have both of those things at the same time. I'm living proof of it. My clients are living proof of it, right? Because the goal isn't, I mean, yes, the goal is to have more good days than bad, right? But when you can have a really high pain day and still be happy and not have this emotional hold on, like not let it have this emotional hold on you, right? When you can address healing from a place of self-love, right? And you can align to your new unique human design, and you can elevate your mindset, and you can have all of these new tools in your toolbox. So when the pain hits, it's not a life or death moment. It's not, you don't get sucked down the hole, the dark, deep hole that we all know for endometriosis so easily, right? Because when you can do all of those things, it really allows you to create this way of being that aligns with your goals, right? And you can take aligned action from that state of being, from the place of being, from the person that you want to be. You can take aligned action to heal and learn to live well with endometriosis despite your pain, right? And this is what I help my clients with. This is the work that we've been doing together. And these are the results they've been seeing, right? I just had Stacy on a podcast with me, and you guys will hear that this week. Her transformation is amazing. Jordan's transformation is amazing. Like my other one-on-one clients, their transformations are amazing. You're going to hear Stacy and Jordan on the podcast. So I said their names so you guys can tune in and hear them. But when you can do the deeper work, right? Because yes, the physical things are important. I'm not saying they're not important, right? But when you can do the deeper work, you can address the other aspects of healing, right? Because healing isn't just a one size fits all. It's not just physical things, right? And even Dr. Cook teaches this in his membership. He has an entire section based on like meditations and living consciously and like all of these other things, because a medical doctor, knows how important all of these other aspects of healing are, right? Because we are whole humans. We are not just a flesh suit. We are emotional, spiritual beings, and we need that deep healing, right? The mindset, the spirituality, the emotional healing, aligning to your human design and your energy, and like helps you heal on a deeper level, right? And this work that I'm doing, that I've been doing with my one-on-one clients, I'm shifting it into a group program because it is so fucking transformational, right? Number one, well, the group container is going to be called the Align to Heal Accelerator, right? And so I'm shifting it into a group program because number one, so I can help more of you on a deeper level, right? Because one-on-one coaching, yes, it's very transformative, but it's just one-on-one, right? And my impact is bigger. I want to impact bigger, if that makes sense. I want my impact to be bigger. I want to help more of you. And two, because I know how transformative that connection piece is to healing, right? Connecting with other people that are on the same path as you, in the same like healing journey as you, connection and all of that connection piece to healing is so important, right? And so this program is going to be centered around my 3-part framework that includes all the practices we've been chatting about: the mindset, the spiritual, the emotional, the aligning to your human design, like all of these other aspects that go into healing that nobody's really talking about in terms of endometriosis right now, right? And it's really learning how to be. Who do you want to become so you can do the things you need to do to have the life that you want to actually have, right? Establish a new routine with mindset work and really overall total wellness and rebuilding and connecting with people and taking aligned action and showing up for yourself every day. Like all of these little tiny things that don't feel like big changes add up to the big changes in the long run, right? And the beautiful thing, I'm very excited about this program because the beautiful thing about it is once you're in the accelerator, you're going to be in it for life, right? And so you're welcome to join any group call from the time that you join until forever, right? Because it's going to be kind of a hybrid course with online modules and workbooks along with biweekly coaching calls. So once you're in the accelerator, it's a 12-month program, but after the 12 months are over, right, it you have the calls for life. So you're welcome to join at any time, ask questions, brush up on any practices. You get any kind of new things that I add into it in the future, right? And so if this is something that you feel like you're needing in your life and you're wanting these deeper transformations and you're wanting to learn how to live well with endometriosis, or maybe you are doing all of the things, you feel like you're doing all of the things and you're not moving forward and you feel stuck, right? Like, I want you to apply to this. Like, this will change your life, right? And being surrounded by a group of people that are on the same healing journey as you, like, life changing, right? And so I want you to apply. You can apply. I don't have, yeah, no, by the time this comes out, I'm not going to have um, the application page open and ready for the accelerator, but you can apply to one-on-one coaching and we can hop on a call and see if this is a good fit for you. I'm planning on starting this on May 5th, right? And so calls will be every other week on Wednesdays. And yeah, even if you just are curious if this could be a good fit for you and where you are in your healing journey and you're wanting help, like, I want you to apply. Apply and let's hop on a free call and see if this is a good fit for where you are in your healing journey. Because you can learn to build a life where extreme pain and immense joy and pleasure exist simultaneously. And that's what I'm here to help you do. I love you all so much. If this resonated with you, obviously DM me on Instagram. Let's chat about it. Yeah, I love you all. I'll catch you on the next episode of the Endo Babe podcast.